Peter Pan is one of the children's favorite bedtime stories, loved for its adventures, magic, innocence, and humor. The boy who never grows old first appears as a baby who escapes his nursery and is taught by the fairies and birds to fly in the novel The Little White Bird, written by the Scottish writer J.M. Barrie. After the huge success of the character, the play under the title Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Would Not Grow Up, was first staged in 1904. Even today, children as well as adults enjoy various adaptations of The Boy Who Never Grows Up. In this video, instead of summarizing the original play or the novel, I am going to give a few background information about Peter Pan's story that might be interesting. Peter Pan is inspired by J.M. Barrie's older brother David Barrie, who died of accident right before his 14th birthday. The sixth of the 10 children and the second son, David Barrie, tall, athletic, and handsome, was his mother's favorite child. On January 29, 1867, the day before his 14th birthday, David Barrie was killed in a skating accident. James Barrie was 6 at the time. James Barrie tried to turn his bereaved mother's attention to himself, first by crying out to her and then by imitating David. However, James Barrie was unlike his older brother. He was not academically promising, nor was he tall and good-looking. The idea that David Barrie died as a charming young boy and would remain forever as a boy became consolation for his family. For James Barrie, however, it also became an inspiration. The name Wendy did not exist at the time J.M. Barrie was writing Peter Pan. J.M. Barrie loved children. He quickly became friends with his associates' kids. One of them was a little girl named Margaret Henley, William Ernest Henley's daughter. The young girl nicknamed J.M. Barrie my friendy, but she mispronounced the word friendy and called him my Wendy. The girl died at the age of 6. The character Wendy is inspired by J.M. Barrie's mother, Margaret Ogilvy. Since young, James Barrie was fascinated by the idea that his mother had once been a young girl. When Margaret Ogilvy shared the story of her own childhood to her children, James Barrie would listen with undivided attention. Later on, as a writer, he would develop and write down his imagination of his own mother as a child. Margaret Ogilvy lost her mother when she was 8, and she had to care for her younger brothers. Since she was very young, Margaret Ogilvy had to cook, clean, and sew, and after she had done her household duties, she would go outside and play like a child. Wendy in Peter Pan is also a child who takes the role of a mother to the lost boys in Neverland. Like Margaret Ogilvy, Wendy's important role is storytelling. She learns to fly in order to visit the Neverland and tell the story of Cinderella to the boys. James Barrie's passion for literature, more specifically the genre of adventure stories, was triggered by Margaret Ogilvy's reading many books like Robinson Crusoe and Coral Island to her children. The play Peter Pan is rather eerie and violent for a children's story. Children's innocence is a big part of Peter Pan's story. When Wendy offers to give Peter Pan a kiss for saying sweet things about girls, Peter Pan holds out his hand. To be polite, Wendy gives Peter Pan a thimble instead. This must be a comical scene where children would laugh at Peter Pan for not knowing what a kiss is. What interested J.M. Barrie about children is not only these angelic moments of innocence and purity, but also their susceptibility to evil. Children's innocence may sometimes lead to cruelty and ignorance, and they are susceptible to sudden surge of emotion and forgetfulness. J.M. Barrie does not ignore this other potential of children's innocence. Peter Pan and the Lost Boys are pursued by the fearful Captain Hook and his crew. Captain Hook's arm has been severed by Peter Pan, who tossed the arm to a crocodile. The crocodile, which also swallowed a clock and makes a ticking noise, in turn pursues after Captain Hook for the rest of him. The Neverland, which seems full of wonder and magic, is also a very dangerous place. Short in height and shy in personality, J.M. Barrie was known for his shyness and inaccessibility. However, he was a ready friend to the children. Since very young, he had the conviction that literature was his game, and his inspiration came from children. When he was writing about Peter Pan, he lived near Kensington Gardens, where he would walk his dog and also play with the Llewellyn Davis boys. By playing with them, he was inspired by their purity and imagination. Peter Pan's story may be receiving timeless love from both children and adults because J.M. Barrie wrote the story out of his heart, truly appreciating and celebrating the children's innocence.